calling the meeting to order at 11:23 p.m. a.m. Brazil time. Okay, off we go. First up on the agenda is roll call. Nelson, I will bring you this microphone.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Nelson Latong, IVSA Expo. When I call out your MO, you do a funny sound, a funny animal sound. Yeah. Probably you'll pay attention. Thank you, Daniel. IVSA Belgium, IVSA Bosnia and Herzegovina, IVSA Brazil, IVSA Colombia, IVSA Croatia, IVSA Czech Republic, IVSA Denmark, IVSA Egypt, IVSA Egypt, IVSA France, IVSA Germany, IVSA Greece, IVSA Indonesia, IVSA Ireland, IVSA Italy, IVSA Latvia, IVSA Mexico, IVSA Morocco, IVSA Peru, IVSA Philippines, IVSA Serbia, IVSA Slovenia, IVSA South Africa, IVSA South Korea. IVSA Switzerland. IVSA Switzerland. IVSA Taiwan. IVSA the Netherlands. IVSA Trinidad and Tobago. IVSA Tunisia. IVSA Tunisia. IVSA Uganda. IVSA UK.
Present. Oh,
IVSA USA. IVSA Egypt. Yes, thank you so much. So our quorum stands at 56.86%. Thank you.
All right, let's get started for reals. Next up on the agenda, nominations for Executive Committee 2022-2023. All right, so these are the nominations we have so far. First, I'm going to quickly go over some of the candidates we have, because officially we still need to ask you an additional question. So just in case you guys didn't know, if you're running for Exco, you can also, if you're not elected, you can select that you're then eligible for Secretariat, Trust, and or Regional Rep. So that means if you're not elected to your Exco position, you automatically become a nominee for either one of the three options. So I want to give some of the nominees that are here the option of doing that. So Ahmed, if you're not elected as DAD, do you want to run for Secretariat, Trust, or no? Okay. Thank you. Then Salsa? No. Okay. Alejandra? She's not here now. Okay. Allison?
Can I just get a little bit more time to think exactly which position?
Well, I can ask you tomorrow. Yes, all good. John?
No.
Nope. Okay, perfect. Having done that, I'm going to reopen nominations for Exco. So are there any other nominations? I see a hand. Otti? Over there, Germany.
Matthias Nempler, IVSA Germany. I want to nominate Hasha Saidi from IVSA Morocco as DAD. She's not present at the moment, so I need a confirmation.
All right, Adnan.
Adnan Emily, IVSA Exco, I approve on her behalf.
Thank you very much. All right. Are there any other nominations for Exco? Seeing none. Nominations are closed, and we'll reopen again in the next GA. The next GA is GA4, so that means that's going to be the last chance for you guys to nominate someone, but also for you guys to get nominated. There's still 3 Exco positions that have no nominees, which is a problem. So please, if you're interested in running a position, come talk to me or anyone else on Exco or Trust or any one of the other officials and get some more info. Next up is nominations for chair. Are there any nominations for chair of standing and candidate committees networks? Because they are open. These are the ones we have so far. All right. Also for this, there's still 2 committees that need. Oh, okay. One committee and 2 one committee, 1 network. 2 committees, 1 network. Oh my God. SCOCA, Wellness, and the Equine Network. And the Wild and Exotic Wildlife thingy network. So 4 positions for chair are still open. Obviously, you can also run for any one of the ones that already do have a nominee. So Jade is here at the Congress. She's the chair of the Standing Committee on Career Attributes. Go wave. Go talk to her.
She's nice.
Yes, she is. Also, SCOCA is great. So, all right. Since there are no other nominations, nominations are closed and will reopen again next GA for the very last time. Next up, I'm reopening the nominations for regional rep. Are there any nominations for regional rep? So sad. Nominations are closed. We'll reopen again in the next GA. And then I'm reopening nominations for secretariat. Are there any nominations? Okay, so there's 12 secretariat positions, which means we're looking for 11 more people by the day after tomorrow. So please, please, please come talk to me. It's great. I don't know how much more often I can tell you guys. All right. Anyways, closing nominations will reopen again. And then now, nominations for trust. Are there any nominations? I see a hand. 2 hands. Wow.
So, Carol from IVSA France, I would like to nominate Mehdi Amrani from IVSA Morocco.
Is there someone to accept on his behalf?
Yes.
Okay, that was accepted, I guess.
Lorraine Vorplatter, IVSA Exco. I accept on behalf of Mehdi.
What just happened?
Method coach, IVSA Slovenia. I nominate Gabriel Tessis Duarte from IVSA Brazil for trust.
Gabriel, do you accept?
I accept.
Is that it? Lauren, who nominated you?
He accepted.
Oh. You accepted for Mehdi. Oh, okay.
So I accept on Dana's behalf.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? nominations? Seeing none, nominations are closed and will reopen again in the next GA. For trust, there is 6 positions available, so 2 more. Then nominations for 72nd IVSA Symposium, 1.5 years away. Are there any nominations? You guys were running as well, right? Yes. Sorry you weren't in there yet. Okay, seeing no other nominations, nominations are now closed and will reopen again in the next GA. Up next on the agenda, nominations for 73rd IVSA Congress, 2 years away. Are there any nominations besides IVSA Peru? Seeing none, nominations will reopen again and again in Slovenia. All right, before I move on to the next agenda point, I want to reiterate once more that the next GA is going to be the day after tomorrow, and that's going to be the last time that you guys can get to nominate someone or be nominated. So make sure to check with your friends at home in IVSA if maybe they might be interested in IVSA official's position. If so, if they need some more information, I'd be more than happy to FaceTime or call and give and answer their questions. So reach out to your friends at home because they are also eligible to run. But you guys are the only ones that get to nominate people. So make sure they're aware of it and make sure you're aware of it. Yes, all right. Then, partner presentation, Purina Institute. I will do the videos because I have the videos. I think. This one?
Hello, I am so excited to be here with you today. I'm Dr. Emily Frost with the Purina Institute, and I am excited to share some information and some tips that I have from my 20 years in veterinary practice on how to answer those client questions about nutrition. This can be a challenging subject to have that conversation with your clients. And we want to make sure that we provide you practical, easy to use tools that you can put into practice as a student and when you graduate out into veterinary practice. Because you're going to see some of the things that we have here on our slide. Can I feed a raw diet? What about probiotics? I want to give my large breed puppy a calcium supplement. And sometimes it's hard to know right off the bat exactly how to answer some of those questions. I also want to point out, before we move on with the rest of the presentation, please feel free to capture my email on this slide. We won't have time for live Q&A today, so I do want to make sure that if you have any questions I can answer, you can reach out to me at any time. So I mentioned that I'm representing the Purina Institute today, and many of you may already know about the Purina Institute, but just in case this is sounding a little new to you, the Purina Institute is an organization within Purina that's really serving as the voice of Purina science, but more than that, outside expertise as well in the field of nutrition. Because we really feel that the science sharing, aside from products and product claims, is so important to the veterinarian community. And we're facilitating collaboration and knowledge exchange in a variety of ways. First, we want to connect the most innovative minds in pet health, and we can do that through conferences and webinars and other activities. We partner with global thought leaders, and this is very important because we need their input to make sure that we are doing the best that we can in the area of nutrition education. Of course, we want to share groundbreaking research, so when we have a discovery, we want to get it out there to the veterinary community and facilitate that exchange of knowledge. And what we're really going to be focusing on today is this last point, where we want to help shape this nutrition conversation. It's been a little frustrating in the past few years to have that nutrition conversation at times with clients because of the variety of places that they may be coming to you with information that may not have been science or fact-based. So we want to help make sure that we can take back that conversation and put it back in your hands as a future veterinary professional, as a veterinary student now, because you are the ones that really have that knowledge that they need to hear. And I think because those nutrition conversations have been a little bit tough, you can see the statistics here, but 83% of our clients have full trust in us in pet nutrition. And it might not always feel that way, because the ones that don't can really give you a little bit of a pushback when you're in the clinic, but they do trust us. But I think because of that minority that we deal with in the clinic every day, we've started to just back off of that nutrition conversation. And that is a real shame, because we need to be providing what our clients want to hear, and they want to hear about nutrition. I can tell you from my practice experience, when I have prescribed an insulin for a cat, I've really never had pushback on what my insulin choice was. Very rarely on what antibiotic I might want to use. But I've certainly gotten a little bit of pushback on my nutrition recommendations. We can't step back from having that conversation. And if we arm ourselves with the tools and tricks to know how to have that conversation with our clients, we are going to bond these clients to us for life, because this is such an important topic to them. But it's understandable, as I mentioned, that we may not want to always engage in these topics, and there's a variety of reasons for that. First, when I was in veterinary school myself, I got quite a bit of large animal nutrition, but not a whole lot of companion animal nutrition. So some veterinary professionals just feel they don't have the knowledge in order to be having these conversations. If they don't have the knowledge, man, it's a very vast subject to try to get up to speed on, and it can be difficult and daunting. And then let's get real, when we are in the clinic, we are busy, busy professionals, and so sometimes it's just hard to find the time when you have so many other things that you have to do. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about a tool that I think you're going to find extremely helpful when it comes to having these nutrition conversations. So at the Purina Institute, we have now launched a platform called Center Square. And the benefits of Center Square is that we really want this to be an easy and practical tool that you can use in the clinic. It's not a textbook you have to sit down and read. It's not an hour-long webinar that you have to sit through in order to get what you need, because we understand that you need a different type of tool when you're in the clinic that is quick and easy to access. But it has to have the most up-to-date nutrition information, and it has to be backed by science, which this is. I always like to watch just quick little videos. That's how I like to get my learn on. So there's a variety of different ways, and I'll take you through all the different content pieces that we have in this platform. But I love the little video series that we have, just to get up to speed on something that I may need to just brush up on. We have practice scenarios if you kind of want to take that short in your learning path. And then conversation starters. If you've learned about it, but you're still not quite sure how to broach the topic with your client, we have some suggestions as to how you can do that. But in addition to having all those different ways in which you can learn, it doesn't help if it's not easy to use, because again, we're trying to find something that is going to be quick and accessible to you practically when you're in the clinic. So you can easily filter the content by species, nutrition category, the content type, and also how much time you have, because that's important as well. And then sometimes we can have that quick conversation in the office call, but we may just need to also send home our clients with some information. And this platform gives you that ability to do that as well. And then lastly, it also has to be robust enough, right? It has to cover everything that we're really looking for when we're going in to have those nutrition conversations. So Center Square contains information on life stage nutrition, on focused nutrition, which is just a little bit more of a dive into that well pet conversation, of course therapeutic nutrition, understanding pet food, and then those tools you may need. You need quick access to your body condition score chart or your fecal score chart. That's there as well. And then of course those nutrition conversation starters in case you need a little extra help trying to understand how it's best to broach this topic with your clients. And again, because you can search with how much time you have, you can get some answers in 5 minutes. For example, if you have a cat with pancreatitis or a dog with pancreatitis and you don't quite remember what the nutritional recommendations could be for that, In less than 5 minutes, you could find the exact grams per 100 kcal that you should be recommending of fat in dogs that have acute pancreatitis. So something that you can really find very quickly and have that knowledge to be able to help institute therapeutic nutrition into your case management, which we know is so critical. So the mainstay of what you're going to find on Center Square are our nutrition briefs. And it's going to have an introduction, some concise key messages if you're just looking for something quick, those conversation starters that we've mentioned, related tools, so if you're looking at something with obesity, you're going to find a body condition information right there as well. And again, we want to make sure that you can also share this information with the pet owner and send them home to be able to continue to understand better what's going on with their pet and why the nutritional recommendations are what they are for their particular well-pet situation or disease condition. And I did also talk about these practice scenarios, and these can be pretty fun to dive into as well, depending on, again, how you like to learn and how you like to get your information. So let's say we're there on a Wednesday afternoon, we know that we're seeing a 14-year-old cat coming into our clinic, and we just want to understand a little bit more about what we want to include, perhaps even in our physical exam. You remember about muscle condition scoring and its importance, but don't exactly remember how that's done, or just need a little extra help, or have that chart right in front of you. So you could go here to general. You can see on the right side here, he's a senior cat, and you're going to get all that information on body condition scoring, on making a recommendation, a nutritional recommendation for a senior cat. You have that muscle condition scoring chart right there. So it puts everything together in that bucket, because you know you're seeing a senior cat, and these are the things that we think that you need to know when you're going to be having that conversation, both your physical exam, your assessment of that cat, and then of course, ultimately, what the nutritional recommendation might be for that individual cat. So you can see there's a wide variety of these practice scenarios that you can tap into and enjoy as you go through your day and in the practice. And I talked a little bit about these video clips that we have. And if you don't know Dr. Julie Churchill or Dr. Sarah Abood, trust me that they are preeminent experts in nutrition. But I think one of the things that really sets them apart for me is just how practical they are. And I've learned so much from both of them in this video series because the way that they approach it with the client is also non-judgmental. It's bringing them into the conversation. It's collaborative. And that's really what we want to have happen. We don't want to be having contentious conversations about nutrition with our clients. We want to be building the foundation of our relationship with these conversations. And that is something that I think Dr. Churchill and Dr. Abood just do spectacularly well. So one of them that you can see here is, how do we ask open-ended questions to get that nutrition information? Steering clear of that, do you give treats? Yes or no? Because as Dr. Churchill brings up, they may knee-jerk to the answer they think you want, versus how she suggests approaching it, which is, pretend that I'm your pet sitter. I need to know everything that happens with Fluffy today, so that I make sure that I don't miss out on anything that's important to her in her nutrition throughout the day. So let's start and just take me through everything that you do with her from a nutrition perspective. First of all, you're going to get so much more information with that approach, but also see how collaborative that is and how you're forming that bond. And I think it really elicits a lot more sharing from the client when you take those kinds of approaches. And that's just one thing that I learned from Dr. Churchill among many in this video series. They're also quick videos, so again, it's not a webinar that you need to listen to in order to get that tip that I just shared with you. They're about 5 minutes long, and they just are packed with really helpful information. So highly recommend this video series. And then those nutrition and assessment tools. I can't tell you how many times in the clinic I have been looking through drawers trying to find where my body condition score chart is, or where my fecal score chart is. And it's really important for me to take a look at and also to be able to share with the client. So here we have a module that's going to have all of these tools right there for you, so you never again have to be looking through 20 drawers to find what you're looking for. You can quickly bring up that body condition system
and show it to your clients, have the ability to do so in the room, or you can print it and send them home with it, or you can email it to them afterwards. But this is just facilitating, again, making sure that you have what you need when you're making these critical assessments. Because let's remember that every pet that you see should have a nutritional assessment, just like we take the pulse and the respiration, and we do a pain score, and we take their temperature. We should also be assessing their nutrition and making a recommendation. And these tools can be really, really important to that, to convince that owner that maybe has that overweight animal that we need to take some steps in order to correct that before the next visit. Or here, you can see that there's the DISHA chart, which is a way of scoring cognitive decline in senior pets. And something, again, that can help facilitate that conversation when you say that there may be some nutritional interventions that we want to consider here, because I'm starting to see some signs of cognitive decline, but guess what? There's something that we can do about that. This is what the tools are going to help provide you when you're having these conversations. And the always popular hot topics, right? So we know that there's a lot of very interesting and engaging topics in the area of companion animal nutrition. And a lot of these topics are some of those ones that more misinformation may be present, coming from a variety of different sources, whether it be the internet or other people giving advice who no doubt mean well with what they're trying to coach the clients or the pet owner about, but they may just not have all of the facts. So this is, again, a way that very quickly we can get up to speed on what's going on in the world of raw food. What are some concerns that we might want to be sharing with our clients? And then what are some conversation starters to broach a topic that sometimes can be a little bit emotional? Things like gluten in pet food, home-cooked diets, and then also things that maybe are more related to disease conditions. So what is the importance of nutrition and heart health? What about hydration and that cat that's coming in that may be drinking a little bit more than usual and urinating a little bit more than usual? And then of course things that are very important as well to clients, like supporting the immune system. That's really become something that is we have seen grow in its importance to the pet owner. And so we can provide you some of those easy talking points in order to be able to navigate through some emerging hot topics as well. So I've shared some of the wonderful functionality of Center Square, but I did want to let you know as well, as a group of students, that we have asked some students to use this tool and to give us some feedback, some honest feedback. And we were really blown away by the reviews that they gave the platform. So 98% of students that use Center Square felt that it furthered their understanding of companion animal nutrition, which is fantastic. 96% felt that it increased confidence. And we can have all the knowledge we want, right? But if we don't feel confident to engage in that conversation, then that's not really accomplishing what we need to. And 100% of veterinary students would recommend Center Square to their peers. So that was fantastic to see. And just taking a little bit more of a double click into the reviews, we also tested this out with veterinary professionals. And at the top here, we have kind of how confident vet professionals and vet students were feeling in their nutrition knowledge, kind of in the mid-50s, students a little bit below 50%, having that confidence in their nutrition knowledge. After using Center Square for actually a fairly short period of time, there was a significant bump in the level of confidence. So veterinary professionals are now in the 70s with their confidence and being able to really engage with a pet owner about nutrition. And the veterinary students, you guys are overachievers, actually bumped up to over 80%, feeling confident in their nutrition knowledge. So really, really nice results from just a short period of time of using Center Square. And then we asked a little bit more detail of, how is this working and why is this working? Because we want to make sure, hopefully it was clear in what I've already said to you today, that we know this needs to be practical, this needs to be relevant, and this needs to be easy to use. So we asked those questions in our survey. 92% of vet professionals said this is relevant. 84% of vet professionals said it's up to date, and that's really important. You don't want to be giving you any information that's out of date. And we'll constantly be refreshing and looking at the content to ensure that we continue to deliver on that promise. And then 75% said, yep, this is practical information that I can use right away. 88% said, easy to understand. 85% easy to relay to pet owners. Again, there's that bridging of the gap of I know something, but can I get that knowledge over to my pet owner that I'm counseling here? And then really excited to see, again, well above 80% saying that this is easily accessible because I am a veterinary professional myself, and when I am in the clinic, I understand that time is not abundant, and this needs to be something that is very easy to get to without any hurdles or barriers. So, having said all of that, let's do a case study because we love case studies. And so let's say now it's not Wednesday afternoon when you're seeing your senior cat. This is Monday morning, and you're sitting there having your cup of coffee, getting ready for your first patient of the day. This will be Charlie, one of your favorites. And your technician is there just admitting Charlie, getting some information for you. And she comes on back into the office and she says, you know, Charlie's mom is really happy with how he's doing. You know, he's been eating well, he's drinking well, his activity seems good. She's just here for her well pet checkup. But Doc, I did notice when I admitted Charlie today and weighed him in, he has actually gained a little weight, and you know, I'm not sure, but he looks maybe like he's a little bit over where we want him to be. So you see that the body weight went from 33.6 kilograms last year to 36.8 kilograms in this year. So you just want to brush up on some things and also get some tools to help you with this conversation, because talking about overweightedness in pets can certainly be one of the tougher subjects that we cover. So we hop on to Center Square, and we know that we want to get some resources to help. So we go right to the nutritional and clinical assessment tools, and we go to view resources. And now, we don't have a lot of time because we got to get to Charlie, right? And we don't want to set our day behind right from the get-go, or we'll just be struggling to catch up. So we're going to filter. We know we want some content on dog. I know we want some body condition assessment, and we're not going to have a ton of time to look at it. So we've selected that body condition assessment, making that diet recommendation, and a nutritional assessment as well. So first up, we have that how to perform a body condition. Now, perhaps you want to brush back up on it, but if you feel very, very confident in it, this is something that you can also play for the client in the room if you have that capability, where they can access it even potentially on their phone, if you can provide them where to go. And they can watch and kind of educate themselves on how to do that body condition. And that's really helpful during the time of weight loss, because then they kind of know what's going on, they can see and recognize the success. So this is a great one to be able to show your owners why it's not just about the weight on the scale, but it's more than that, it's about that body condition. And that's really what we're trying to aim for. And then we also have our body condition system sheet, so we can kind of circle or show where we think Charlie might be at. In this particular case, we think he's maybe a 7.5, 8. So we really need to take some action to get him back down where we want him to be. And then we also have our progress chart. Progress in celebrating success is so important in the conversation about weight loss because it's hard. You're asking a client to do something that's hard. Nobody wants to be on a diet. I don't want to be on a diet. I don't really love the idea of my pet being on a diet. This is difficult, but it's so important. So when you do have those successes and that progress, that positive reinforcement, like, hey, you are doing a fabulous job with Charlie. You know, he is going to live a happier, better life because we're doing this, and look at the progress we've made as we've gone through this. It goes a huge way into getting that compliance with our owners when it comes to this. And then again, because it is a little bit of a difficult conversation, if you're just looking for some guidance as to how you might approach it, those conversation starters are there. And again, just keeping those key messages of the reason I'm doing this is because you love Charlie, I love Charlie, and we want him to live his best life, a longer, healthier life. And this is why we're going to help him just take off a few of those pounds. So I hope that you will go and visit Center Square today and explore it. look at the tools, find the areas that speak most to you, and really get up to speed on your nutrition knowledge and feeling confident in having that conversation with every pet owner that you will see during your career as a student and then as a veterinary professional. You can scan that URL code right there, or you can just go to purinainstitute.com/Center Square. And lastly, I just want to share with you that we would also love for you to consider signing up for the Purina Institute Scientific Communications. Again, you have a little scan code right there for you to make it easy, but you can also get there with purinainstitute.com/sign up with that little hyphen in the middle of sign up. Or just access it right from purinainstitute.com. There's a very clear sign up button up in the right hand corner. And why we'd like you to consider signing up for these? Because this is where we share some of the latest discoveries in nutritional science. We have free nutritional resources and those guides that we can be sharing with you to help facilitate that conversation. We have a really exciting offering of events and webinars this year. So this is how we can make you aware of those, all free for you to attend, both live and on demand. New content alerts. If we add something to our webpage, something else in the area of microbiome, or we add some content to Center Square, this is how we can make you aware of that quickly and easily. And we have some great newsletters to help you keep informed as well. So we do hope that you'll consider signing up for our scientific communications. And with that, it has been a pleasure to have this time to talk to you today. I hope that some of the tools that I have spoken to today will help you, and I also hope that you have a fantastic rest of your conference, and perhaps we can all be in person together in the not too distant future. Thank you.
Time to continue. Up next on the agenda is voting on the base factor. And Nina, come on up.
Alright, hi guys. I will be presenting the base factor that which we have within the membership fee. So I guess this is a good time as well to discuss how we calculate our membership fees for those who don't know. So we have three factors, that is the size factor, income factor, and base factor. And the size factor is the number of your members, then the GDP is for the income factor, and these are the short description for what they really are. So I'm still going to show you like the tables which are in our bylaws. So like for the GDP factors, depending on your country, you are sectioned into seven groups. And then for size factor, like depending on your members, you are also, it goes on to 11, but we currently have like the largest, which is USA, I think. Yeah, so they're like way down there. Okay, so for the base factor, I would like to show you the base factors that we've had during the years. So as you can see, 2015 and 2016, we have 23. The 17-18, we have 25. And then there was a consecutive, stagnant status of the base factor for 4 years. That is why this year we would like to increase it by 40. Generally, the main reason is inflation. As you all know, it is not a good thing, it's not a fun thing, but we have to face it. And this is like a slide for explaining how it would look like if we were to apply the 40. So first of all, we got the mean average of all the members depending on the country. We've had the number of 150 people as the mean average. And then we have, again, the computation, which is the base factor, size factor, and then GDP factor. So the size factor, it is 2 because here, again, we computed 150, right? So it's equivalent to 2. Then this table shows the difference between the base factor at 35 and at 40. So what does that mean? Now it means that there is a 12.5 increase in the value, and would, depending on your GDP, would also increase. So does everybody get it? Get it? Okay, that's nice. Therefore, I move to approve the base factor at 40 in the next term. Again, ini naman ang git, IVSA Exco. I move to approve the base factor at 40 in the next term. Enthusiasm.
Second.
Okay, thank you guys. It is therefore moved to 40.
All right, is there any discussion on moving to approve the base factor at 40? This is going to impact your membership fees. Do you guys have any questions about that? Constantina.
Thank you. Constantina, I would say Greece. Is there a support plan for MOs that are really struggling and maybe won't be able to pay the whole amount of the fees or something?
Can I just answer myself? All right. I learned I've been in IVSA, so I think I know. Yes, Constantina, we do. There's reduced fees for MOs that you can apply to, and we're using the DAD funds. Another question from Italy.
Susanna, IVSA Italy. Susanna, IVSA Italy. I would like to ask the treasurer why is it necessary to increase the base factor?
Well, I did say it was IVSA Nina. I did say no. Nina, I did. I say Exco. Again, the major reason is inflation. So it is really sad that we have to increase. But again, everything that we buy or everything that is IVSA expenses is increasing as well. So we have to compensate for that. So does that answer your question? Or
I cannot reply directly, right? No, but I cannot reply directly. Like everyone has to talk about it, and then I studied. I'm so impressed.
Tessa from IVSA in the Netherlands. I was wondering, what is the inflation like been on our money that we spent the last few years? Maybe that helps explain a bit to people.
the last few years?
Daniel?
Daniel Lund, IVSA Denmark. Just so you guys know, I'm facing this way because I technically have to speak to the chair. It's not that I don't like you guys. Well, inflation for the US dollar, which is a pretty good measurement for inflation worldwide, has been 17.78% over the last 4 years, and this is a 12.5% difference here.
All right, thank you very much for elaborating. Constantina. I got your name right now.
the future that it might be going down, or is it a stable situation?
Okay, Nina Rengen, IVSA. There is a chance as long as we have enough sponsors and enough income to compensate the expenses. So there is a chance, but we're not really sure when or how.
Perfect. All right. Yes. More questions from IVSA Italy.
Matteo Carnevale, IVSA Italy. I wanted to ask if there is a maximum value over which we can't go, a maximum value of base factor over which we can't go.
There is no such thing. Another question from IVSA Italy? Oh, is there? Oh, there's another one over there. Sorry.
You have to wait until everybody speaks, then you can speak again. That's how it works. Yeah, it's because Constantina spoke again, and then probably was the second round. I'm sorry.
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah. Alina Möller, IVSA Germany. So, like you told us yesterday, I guess, that we have like a surplus, like from the COVID situation. So why don't we spend that money first before we increase the fee?
Okay, so it's not that easy that we have the money and we just expend it. We have to plan ahead, and then we have to plan for unexpected things. So even though we do have the money, we try to budget everything and just keep to that and not touch any further budget. So in that question, does that?
Vanda?
Vanda Lucic, in Croatia. I know, but it feels like we have more money than we needed, and we are changing the base factor, and it could be a big problem to small MOs, like, I don't know, Croatia, Bosnia, etc. So is there some kind of way to maybe solve that problem? Because I think it will discourage small MOs to form new MOs and to be active, if you get what I'm asking.
All right. You've just been assumptions. Trinity.
Trinity, IVSA Ireland. Yeah, I was just wondering, because we're also very small. Would there be just a way to increase deadlines, or maybe, like when it comes to renewal, like just so we get the money together if we're struggling with that? Is that possible?
Could you please speak up a little? Could you repeat? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
Trinity, IVSA Ireland. So I'm new, so I don't with IVSA UK, I'm not really sure in the future if they're going to continue covering our fees. But in the case when they don't, when it's gone up, will we be able to, like the deadlines and such, would we be able to apply for extensions if we're struggling to pay on time? Would that be something that IVSA would look into?
All right, so I can answer as chair. Technically, we do not have official ways to apply for extension, but history has proven that IVSA is pretty lenient when it comes to giving RMOs more time to pay their membership fees. So if you can't come up with it on like the exact day, you can always just talk to the treasurer and see how you guys can work around it. That's definitely a possibility. Are there any other people that maybe haven't spoken yet on this motion that would like to say something?
Nina, IVSA Exco. Okay. I do want to say that even though IVSA is very lenient about having membership fees not paid on time, you will have restrictions when you don't pay your membership fees, especially elections. Okay. So please don't push the
All right, are there any other questions? Use the microphone.
Mario Sabila, IVSA Exco, point of privilege, can someone raise the temperature of the air conditioner or turn it off because the delegates back there are getting cold? Thank you.
Okay, delegates back there, you guys have a voice, right? You can say point of privilege as well. If you're cold, please let us know. Or if you're hot, please let us know. We're here to help you guys. Okay, thank you, Salsa. Luren.
Luren from Panta, IVSA Exco. I would also like to answer Wanda's, the previous speaker's question. So this is just a motion of Inina. This is just a motion, so you guys can amend this, or the delegates can amend this, and you can also don't agree to this, you can change it, you can discuss it, so it's not that you cannot change this. So if you want this not to happen, you can just suggest something else. The delegates can suggest it.
All right, so did you guys understand? As this is a motion, it's possible for you guys to make amendments. If you don't know how to make an amendment to this, you just stand up, state your name and country, and say, I move to amend this motion to state the following, or to strike out, or to replace, whatever you want it to be. Is there any more discussion on this motion? No, over there first.
Katarina Fielding, IVSA USA. I just had a question. I know MO sizes differ and USA is one of those that's like super large and ridiculous. Is there a way that the base factor could change based on size of MO, or is it stated somewhere that it has to be the same for everything? Because then maybe the larger MOs could take the higher base factor to cover the rest of the costs.
Daniel wants to directly comment.
Daniel Lund, IVSA Denmark. Just a friendly reminder to all of you guys, we have a parliamentarian who knows the bylaws, and it's me. And I can answer a lot of these questions, so instead of asking a question to the room, you can say parliamentary inquiry, and then I will answer it for you. But to answer your questions regarding these things, if you haven't paid your fee for 2 years, you become inactive, and you have to apply again. Outside of those 2 years, you actually have time to pay your fees. That's first thing. Second thing is the base factor already changes depending on your size of the MO, because there's a size factor, there's a base factor, and a GDP factor, which is stated in the bylaws. So yeah, that does not change.
All right, I hope that answered your question. Tessa?
Tessa van Dijnen, IVSA in the Netherlands. I was wondering what EXCO's opinion is on this matter.
Ooh, bingo cards. Look at them. Expo opinion. I think it's on there. All right. I'll give the microphone to Anya for an Expo opinion.
So thank you for that question. We have, valid point. I'm not here to IVSA Exco. Thank you for the question. We have discussed this matter within Exco. There were voices for and against this amendment. We took a vote, therefore, and there was a majority of votes for this matter.
Perfect. Thank you. Is there any more discussion on this motion? Yes, now you go. Oh, did you? Sorry. Someone else wants to go?
I swear.
You can just hold the microphone though. I'll go. I feel bad.
That's the same. Okay. I'm Tae, IVSA Korea. You said you set aside money, even though there is a lot of money in your bank account, for the unexpected situations, right? So, what are the unexpected situations? And I would call the COVID-19 crisis an unexpected situation that added the money to the bank account. So, isn't it enough in your bank account? So, why would you raise the base factor?
All right, so yes, COVID-19 was an unexpected situation that luckily, luckily, we're kind of sad about it, but it did limit our expenses because we couldn't actually organize anything anymore. There are, however, many unexpected expenses that actually, like unexpected costs that actually cost us money instead of save us money. So, because things can always go wrong in an organization, prices go up and then, or things go wrong and you have to do something again. So yes, there are things that we need to budget for. And besides that, as Anina also, I made a mistake. See, it's okay. As was also previously mentioned during the GA, is that we have a reserve fund. And that reserve fund, the sole purpose of it is to ensure that IVSA can function without any income whatsoever for at least a couple of years. And that's also something that we're building towards, to have a sustainable organization, even when everything, like all of our income goes away, that IVSA can still manage to survive for X amount of years. So that's why we can't just spend all the money we're getting in, because we're trying to build towards a sustainable and like a durable association. Kirsten?
Kirsten Abraham, IVSA alumni. So I just wanted to state that when I was in Exco, we actually lost a very, very big sponsor and we struggled a lot with money. So because like there was a question from a previous speaker for I would really not touch that money, because if we wouldn't have had that money at that time, we couldn't have had live meetings, we couldn't have had all those great things that IVSA stands for. Like we go to events, we represent IVSA, and if we wouldn't have had that money at that time, we would have struggled a lot. And actually, when we ended our when my Exco year ended, we had like so much less, and we are very happy that we got this situation figured out and that we are running and going again. But I really would like to ask the GA to really keep in mind that unforeseen circumstances always happen, and we cannot say if we struggle again.
All right. First, IVSA Italy, because you already spoke.
Susanna, IVSA Italy. As previously said, is inflation the main reason why we're doing, why we're trying to change this base factor to 40. And I would like to point out that inflation does not only reflects on IVSA Global, but also on the local chapter NMOs of all the world. And as I've been part of the founding of IVSA Italy as a national MO, one of our main goals is to be, an help for the local MOs who are struggling with money. So what we have always liked is to, be able to help the smaller, because we have more visibility, we have more sponsor, and it's easier for us to reach for money rather than a local chapter that has 40 members. I'm speaking about Italy that has a weird reality because it's 13 faculties, so really small local chapters. But I can compare this situation to the global one. And I'm thinking about IVSA Global, who has a lot of visibility and can reach out to many, many sponsors. I think IVSA Global will be struggling with money, or has struggled with money, but not as much as MOs. As all the MOs of, MOs and local chapters and whatever. So what I was hoping is that the mother is helping the kids, not the kids helping the mother. I don't know if you, I don't know if I've explained myself well. Just tell me.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any more discussion on this motion? Christina?
Christina Kanana, IVSA in the Netherlands. I want to ask why the base factor is done, or why we want to set the base factor at 40. Are there calculations that have been done? Why, for example, not 38, 39?
All right, I think that's going to require a direct reply from Anina.
Okay, IVSA Exco. I would like to go to this slide so that you can see. So you see the difference between 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. That is 3. If you follow the pattern, it would actually be more than 40. So, but they did increase by 10 from 2017, 18, and then 2018, 2019. So there is no exact calculation for the 40. But it was one of the most reasonable increase because it's not that high, it's not 10, and it's not that low, like 3. So it's like a change, but it's not a shock to everyone. Maybe not everyone. I could speak for those MOs that are underprivileged. IVSA Philippines is part of the lower ranks of the GDP. So we also do struggle with the membership fee, but me and my fellow delegate have discussed that it is still proper and more sustainable. The word is sustainable. It is more sustainable for IVSA to also change the base factor for IVSA Global. Can I add more? Okay. For our, you will see this later, but for our income, yes, sponsors are one of our major income, but second to that is membership fees. So without membership fees, we cannot really solely rely on sponsors because sometimes sponsors can be flaky. They sometimes don't pay on time. So we still need to have a sustainable membership fee. Is that?
All right, James?
James Calgieri, IVSA Ireland. I just want to make a comment. I know money is always a touchy subject. Personal experience, I've been in a number of organizations similar to this over the years. Operating costs always go up. It's not something you can change. But it's what allows us to do events like this and be able to get together and bring, I know you guys...
Speak a little louder, please.
It also allowed you guys to bring members from, one member from different chapters or MOs that weren't able to afford it, and that's what all these operating costs help fund. It allows us to continue doing stuff like this, meeting each other, having fun, and networking.
Thank you very much, and what you said is indeed very correct. It is important to realize that a lot of the money that we get, we invested in you guys. Any other discussion? Lisa? Oh, Adnan, I'm sorry. Then Lisa first and then Adnan.
All the other Dutch people spoke, but I didn't.
Okay, usually you always say things, so I just assumed.
That's Lisa Buren, IVSA the Netherlands. I moved to have a stand at ease for 5 minutes because I feel there are a lot of questions, so the bodies can talk to their countries for a bit and the UNOs can discuss among themselves.
That was a motion. Thank you very much. Is there any discussion on standing at ease for 5 minutes? Are there any objections? No. Okay, that means we're at ease for 5 minutes. Buddies, you can go to your countries. Just a few announcements maybe for, okay, just go talk first, I'll do it after.
People, please, keep in mind it's a stand at ease. You cannot leave the room.
If you
Do you guys still need more time? Yes. I'll give you more time. Okay, do you guys still need more time? Who's done? By a show of hands, who is done with the stand at ease?
Guys, listen!
Hey, please. I don't want to yell at you, but you're kind of making me. Who still needs more time? Please raise your hand as a country. Okay, I'll give you 2 more minutes, because everyone else is done.
Guys, you can actually ask me other stuff.
All right, I think our stand at ease is over right now. So I'm calling the GA back to order at 12:48 p.m. 8 p.m. Yes, Brazil time. Is there any more discussion on the motion on the floor? Tara. Who has the microphone? That I don't have because I need mine. Oti, over there, Tara.
Dana Česnik, IVSA Slovenia. Has EXCO or just anyone, is this like the first option for us to get more money into the budget? Or have you been considering any other option of lowering the cost of some things that IVSA global expenses?
So, speaking on behalf of IVSA, we're always looking at options to lower our costs. We're always looking for the cheapest option possible. And then when it comes to other ways of getting more money, obviously we have an entire position dedicated to sponsorship. So that's also something we're working towards. Yes, I hope that answered your question. Any other discussion? Yes, over there.
Rachel Kamishki, IVSA USA. I have a parliamentary inquiry.
Yes.
I was just wondering if this motion, or if this could be potentially moved to be a roll call vote. I don't know if that's a possibility, but just curious if that's possible.
Okay, I think I can just answer that. So what I planned on doing, just because there's quite a lot of discussion going on, I wanted to do a card raising vote, which is very similar to a roll call vote. If then the results seem inconclusive, that's when we move to roll call. So first step, if there's discussion, is card raising, and then we'll do roll call if necessary. Is there any more discussion? Josué?
Josué, I was in Mexico, so I moved to move the base factor from 40 to 37. This way you're gonna increase like 7.5% of the money that you're gonna receive, because it's not gonna be like that much of 5.
A little louder.
Oh, everything?
No, just your explanation.
If we increase like just 3.
I just asked him to. Okay, you made your motion first. Just say it again.
Josué gets in Mexico, so I moved to move the base factor from 40 to 37.
Okay, now you explain. Yes.
So if we increase like just 3 points from the base factor, you're gonna receive like 7.5% more money. So that's extra money that for the unexpected expenses and things like that.
Put the mic to your mouth.
Oh, sorry. If we increase just 3 points instead of 5, and you're gonna also receive more money. It's like 7.5% more money for the IVSA team. So I think that's enough. Even if you wanna increase later, maybe the next, I don't know, next years, you can increase more, and that's not like that much.
Okay, thank you. Compromise. Is there any discussion on this motion? So what we're discussing now is the amendment to the motion, which is instead of changing the base factor to 40, we're going to set it at 37. IVSA Italy.
Gabriela, IVSA Italy. I was thinking that maybe for us, like you talked about having a plan for the next 2 years. No.
Committee.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking in general, like with numbers. Like,
okay, just finish what you wanted to say, and then I'll see if it relates to this or not.
That to decide for us to decide like this for us is like good or not. To see the numbers and to see a plan that is behind the reason to increase and like the numbers that you need for the association, and maybe like I don't know, it's better for us. The budget, like the plan for the future, like why do we need so much money for the next, I don't know, 1 year, 2 years, whatever. And like for what do we need it, why we don't have enough money so far, and what's the plan for the future?
Okay. Is there any more discussion? Vanda?
Vanda Dučić, IVSA Croatia. I think this is parliamentarian inquiry, but I'm not sure. So is there anywhere in the bylaws written that maybe if we raise it now to 40, it should stay 40 for, I don't know, next 2 years, and then we can raise it again? Because if we raise it now and we raise it again next year, I think the raise will go too fast, and maybe it will affect member organizations, especially the small ones.
Daniel? You go answer.
Daniel Lund, IVSA Denmark. So it is the bylaw state. The base factor is decided annually by the General Assembly. So once a year during Congress we decide the base factor. It doesn't state whether or not it should go up or down. Historically, it's only gone up, but as you can see, it's also been stagnant for many years at a time to accommodate MOs being able to pay their fees. But it can go down at some point in time.
Thank you very much for your explanation. Is there any more discussion on this motion? Konstantina.
Thank you so much. I will say Chris Konstantina Luka. What I want to ask is that we know that the DAT funds help the MOs with low GDP, if I'm correct. This plan, generally every up and down on base factor would apply to every MO. What would be the process from MOs with medium or high GDP to get help if they need it to pay for their fees? Because I don't think only low GDP, not only low GDP countries suffer or will suffer, and especially after 2 years with the pandemic and stuff.
All right, so I'm just going to repeat because I think not everyone understood your question. So if I understood correctly, you want to know if there's a possibility for MOs from medium to high incomes to also get reduced fees. Yes. Yes. The reduced fee program we have through the DAD, it's not limited to just. Oh, it is? Adnan, can you please answer?
So, Adnan IVSA Expo. So for the membership fee fund, it is restricted to like under 10% DDB bracket, but if we get applications, we might consider middle income as well.
Thank you very much for your answer. I assume.
But yeah, for now, it's still for the under 10% GDP.
Perfect. Is there any more discussion on this amendment of changing the approval of the base factor to 40, changing it to approving the base factor of 37? Okay. Loren?
Loren from Blanta, IVSA Exco. Point of information, is it still able to change it after we accept this now? Or if someone wants to change it now, do they need to do it now? Parliamentary requirement then?
Daniel?
Daniel on IVSA Exco. Well, you're not once we change a part of a motion, we're not allowed to change that specific part again, because it's already been decided by the GA. So if we decide to say 37 instead of 40, we don't have the possibility of going back to 40 or going to 35, then it's only 37. And remember, that's the only thing we're discussing now, whether or not it should be 37 instead of 40. Afterwards, we will vote on whether or not to approve 37. And to let all of you guys know, we need a base factor, so if we can't agree now, we're just postponing it for a later time. There cannot be a budget with no base factor.
All right, is there any more discussion on this? Kirsten Abraham.
Kirsten Abraham, IVSA alumni, I moved to table this discussion because I think there is a lot going on and I'm not sure if we can decide that on now. Thank you.
All right, is there any discussion on tabling this motion? Tabling this agenda point? Allison?
Allison Brown, IVSA, Trinidad and Tobago. Point of information. If we do decide to table this discussion, I assume partly because everyone is still trying to figure out what to do, would it be possible to have the calculation slides provided so everyone can at least work through it on their own? Is that
Yes, so we will, if we table this, we're definitely going to send you guys some more information and some calculations, and we can provide you with the budget again so you guys can look it over in your spare time as well. Oh, Delegates Drive. There's also more stuff on there. Any more discussion on tabling this agenda point? All right. Any objections to tabling this agenda point? Seeing none, agenda point is tabled. All right, quickly, you guys did so great. I'm so proud. I'm very happy to see you all interact and see so many new people speak up. So thank you. All right, then the chair now entertains a motion to go into recess until the next meeting of the GA. Daniel Lunch. We're now in recess. Go have lunch. First, oh, we're not. Is there any discussion? I'm going into recess. I'm sorry, I was too excited. I want to pee. Is there any discussion? Any objections? We're now in recess.
Hey guys! Announcement. I know you might be getting sick of me every day, every time giving announcements. But, so a few announcements. So Yuri asked me to tell you